highly experienced, cool under pressure. The heist is on. It was always a crazy escapade, an inside job, using your inside knowledge so you immediately become a suspect. The amount of discipline required for years afterwards to not be detected. The fact that they managed it for so long is impressive. It was always predictable that loose lips would sink ships. Goran, the tall man, is something of a playboy. He likes the finer things. Monaco, Cannes, these are his regular stomping grounds. He has a different woman on each of his two arms probably every time he goes out. This is not a person who lives under the radar. He doesn't have a string of criminal convictions following him. He runs an apparently legitimate construction business. The Swedish police, however, take a slightly more cynical view that he is a link between organised crime in Stockholm and organised crime in Serbia and Montenegro. What the Swedish police can't possibly, at this stage, anticipate is that Goran the tall man Bojovic is planning one of the most audacious and sophisticated heists in history. The $5.3 million question is, did they really steal all the money in Stockholm? While he's looking at the safety deposit boxes and all of that, when he comes out, he kind of gets lost and pretends that he doesn't know where he's going, and he ends up finding a storage cupboard. Opens it, looks inside. This is the ideal entry point for the gang. Everything that's gone on up to that point, the tunnelling, the subterfuge, feeding the police false stories, this is the point where all of that counts, because it seems to be working. One of the last things the gang do before they leave is they spread barbershop hair all over the place. They know the police will gather that up and examine it for DNA, which will take them down all kinds of blind alleys. And that's really interesting because it's 2006, and while the police have started using this DNA evidence, most criminal gangs haven't caught up with it. It just shows how impressive and cutting edge they were.
If the relationship was inappropriate, consensual, and we're told not illegal, which I think is pretty much the exact words of Schofield, more likely his lawyers, I think, in a statement, why has he been sacked? An affair is not enough for you to be completely professionally decapitated. And that's what seems to be happening now. Schofield got the boy the job, calling him a boy, whether he was 18, 21 or whatever. Yeah. Schofield's not a boy, we can say that, all right? But certainly Schofield agrees that the guy was a teenager when they met. When you're offering guaranteed returns, which was kind of what was happening, then that becomes a security or an investment that requires by law to be registered. And that way it's regulated. The behavior of what people say is monitored by the Securities and Exchange Commission. That's the American version of what we call the Financial Conduct Authority, the FCA. And interestingly, it's Adam Moskowitz himself, the celebrated group action trial attorney, who is the one going after all these celebrities who have money, and where Sam Bankman-Fried doesn't have money. He knows they have wealth that he can go after for the benefit of his clients. And of course, those millionaire celebrities have benefited. So to some extent, why not? However, he's this specialist group action attorney who's done similar cases in the past 3 or 4 years regarding misleading statements in the market. And he says, you're right. Taylor Swift's team in negotiations said, wait a minute, can you tell me that these investments are not actually unregistered securities? She was so well advised by her lawyers and her team. She's so much more careful. The difficulties she's had with her own management and her own back catalogue over the years, which are so well documented, have meant that by now she has a great, hard, intelligent team around her advising her, and she stayed well clear.
Prosecutors were able to link them fatally to the night of the heist. Goran Bojovic, the tall man, 3 years for planning the robbery. the shortest sentence of the gang because he couldn't be tied to the building. Charbel Charo, the teacher, 5 years, also for planning the G4S robbery. Safa Kadum, the muscle, 7 years for storming the depot with an assault rifle. Mikhail Sodegren, Mr. Dynamite, 5 years for his role in the heist. And Alexander Eriksson, the pilot. He was found guilty of stealing and piloting the helicopter. 7 years.